It has been a late, very weird spring, and it seems like I'm not ready for anything. I feel like I haven't done anything in the garden, and that it's already too late. It's already past when I was supposed to be doing stuff. At least where we are, it feels like the early part of the spring, so we had snow and then it was 90 degrees, and it's like, oh, well, summer's gonna be here and I can get everything in the garden, but it was way too early and too cold. Kind of all of that put together really does make it feel like the I'm not ready, the garden's not ready, and I'm gonna be behind. And there's this pressure as you're looking at the calendar going by that I should be out there. I should be gardening. I need to get this thing productive. I need to get all my flowers in. The reality is, the garden itself, while you may not feel like you've gotten a chance to do everything that was on your checklist, the garden is still doing its things. The garden is still growing. I mean, I've got the blackberries and the raspberries behind me, and sure, we cut some of them back when we had an opportunity in the early spring, but that's all they need. Everything's still kind of working, and it's easy to forget that, and it's really easy to get into a cycle of, I got to be out there, I got to be doing this now, and if I don't, I'm going to be too late, and nothing's going to work. Nature's not against you, the weather's not against you. It's okay to be where you're at. It's okay to be going into summer and still kind of getting your bearings and feeling out what this garden season is going to be all about. You don't have to force the garden into being something. You can just let the garden be and be alongside the garden. So instead of doing projects and coming up with checklists for the garden, I've actually been trying to take a little bit of time just to see what the garden is doing and is like right now. You know, I've noticed things like, I don't know if you can hear the frog, but the frogs are coming back to the ponds that we have, and every time we walk through the garden, one of them is talking to us, and it's really fun to listen to that and actually look at the pond water and see kind of like the superhighway of all the critters that have now kind of woken up and are doing their thing in the pond. We haven't had a chance to clear out any of the pond plants that didn't come back from over the winter, but we did see a chickadee having a bath, and he was able to, you know, sit on top of the plant material that was left there. And so instead of it being a checklist item or something that I felt like I didn't get to, we got to have just a moment observing the chickadees doing what they do. And I know, and it's tempting when we start seeing the weeds popping up everywhere to want and to jump on that. But I'm taking the approach of really just doing little bits at a time as kind of like a relaxing activity. If I can come out here and spend some time in the garden, that's really all I want. And also, like, gardening in a way that the garden can then be taking care of itself. So we have the eastern violets that are all around my feet here that are just kind of taking over on their own, and they're going to crowd out the weeds, and they make a much nicer ground cover. Or in other parts where we got the perennials growing in together, we have them, you know, packed in, and probably packed in more than the guidelines would suggest that you do, but it works for us. It's working really well because now that they're all growing in together, they're shading out any of the weeds that would want to come up, and so there's no work for us to do. It's just letting them grow and do their thing, and we get to enjoy them doing their thing. And so that's why we garden. That's why we've put in the flower beds. It's not about having a particular project or a list of things that we have to do, but it's about trying to create a space where we can just be, we can enjoy, we can relax, and just come out here and see what the garden is doing. For us, a lot about gardening is being part of that whole cycle that the garden goes through of growth and of change. And yeah, we want to be able to maybe add something here or something there, but the main part is having the garden be another room and another space for us to enjoy and to live in. And so that's why we do it. I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Let me know how your spring has been going, and I will see you in the next one.